next few weeks?
The goal, really, no real main goals. Just gonna let God handle everything. Just come out here and ball out, grind every day. Everybody's grinding every day to just get better each day. So, like I said, just gonna keep balling and let God handle everything. That's all.
Did you do anything differently, like workout-wise, to get ready for this season? Were there certain things you tried to focus on?
No, not really. Just trying to train myself to, have my body in more condition and like more muscle cardio and all that type of stuff all around my body, doing full body workouts. Just trying to train to stay healthy.
Miles, did you hear Coach Sirianni yell, you're a starter, you're running with the ones?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts of that?
Who made that article? It is what it is. If they really watch it, they will see that everybody rotates. But it is what it is. I ain't really been paying no attention to it.
It was a little different than last year. I don't think you had any second team reps last year.
I had second team reps last year too.
Okay.
What went into changing your routine, and how different was it, and how confident are you that'll help you stay healthy?
Really just trying to take care of my body whenever I don't have injuries, staying in the training room, preventing injuries, all year round, instead of just going in there when I have nicks and bruises. So just staying in there when I don't have injuries and preventing stuff.
There's 5 running backs in camp, and I guess it's going to keep you pretty busy with touches and snaps and stuff. Would you like to back off the reps a little bit as the summer goes on, and maybe divide those up a little bit?
No, more reps, the better to me. I love practice. I love getting reps in practice. I love just trying to get better each day. I think we had more running backs in camp before, but five running backs, and we're all going to work and all get the same amount of reps.
Miles, even though you're only a few days into camp, do you have any sense about this year's offense versus what you had the last couple of years?
We still got a lot of work to do. Like you said, it's the beginning of camp. We still got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of talent on this team, a lot all year, all around. But we got a lot of work to do still.
What's your assessment about what you've seen out of the defense at this point versus last year?
The fast, we got add a lot of pieces. So all it's doing is benefiting us. But they're moving around. I like how the defense is playing. They're challenging us everywhere, from the defensive line, the linebackers to the secondary. So I love what the defense is looking like, and all they're gonna do is make us better.
Miles, your motivation at this point, what would you say going into this point of your career? What's your motivation?
Just get the respect that I finally deserve. That's all.
What's that look like?
I stopped making articles about me being on second team.
Kenny Gainwell, second year. Have you noticed any difference in him, between this camp and last camp when he first got his role?
Stronger, smarter. We all learned this new offense last year at the same time, so everybody's got a good gist of the offense. We're moving faster, doing stuff more efficient, and everybody looks better in this second year in this offense. Everybody's learning the offense at the same time, and everybody's just getting better at it each day.
Kind of like going off, getting the respect you feel you deserve. Are there certain goals that you have in mind for the season in order to reach?
Yeah, I got goals, but I don't want to sit here and speak about them. Like I said, I'm just go out here, grind every day, and let God handle it.
Miles, you spoke a little bit about, you got dinged up a little bit last year, probably more than you ever had in your career. You spoke about, obviously, the training that you've done to address that. To you, what would be a successful year in terms of your health?
Just be available, that's all. Availability is the best ability, so that's all. Just be available.
What type of volume are you met? One of the members of the military, also a running back when he was in high school. Sorry, Ruben.
It's all right.
I know you didn't like that question.
No, I didn't say a word.
I ask a military question.
You'll be my guest.
So, what is your, what is it like for you to meet a person who's defending our country?
Oh, it's an honor, honestly. Obviously, they came out here because they love what we do, but we love what they're doing for this country. We don't have, we're not able to do a lot of stuff that we can do without them. So I love that they're out of camp and watching practice, and happy to be here watching us. But honestly, I feel honored meeting them because they do a lot more for this country. So.
Let's take 2 more, Miles. How much have the injuries the last 2 years kind of eaten at you during the off season, and knowing that they've prevented you from having the kind of seasons that you feel you're capable of?
It hasn't eaten me. Honestly, injuries I have are not little injuries. They're injuries that you can't really control. So just have a strong mindset and just on to the next, get better and on to the next.
As far as volume, what are you expecting this year?
Say that again?
As far as volume, what are you expecting this year?
What do you mean? Can you explain it?
In terms of the amount of touches you get per game?
Whatever I can to help the team win.
Cool. Thanks, Miles.
It's going well. It's fun. It's like being a freshman again. Just trying to learn everything I can. We've got quite a few, good vets in the receivers room to learn from. So it's been great. I love the guys and I love being a part of this. So it's been fun.
How do you like being kind of the underdog?
Right.
Which is what you are,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of been the story of my whole life, right? 5'8", kid who played quarterback in high school. And so my whole life I've kind of had that, and I think it's led to my mentality. I mean, when you're my size, you kind of have to have that mentality. One of the kids over here thought I was a kicker. so
Well, you're not.
No, I mean, so it leads to your mentality and your work ethic, and I think it's a positive thing, because when you can't rely on size or just this crazy athleticism, you have to be very detailed, and I think that's what I've kind of strived for my whole career, is being very detailed, being very smart, and understanding where my advantages come. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on right now.
When you look at the Utah office you were in versus the ones you see here now, what similarities or differences do you see, and how do you fit into this current?
Yeah, so I played for 3 different offensive coordinators. The latest one is most similar to this. The longer play calls, you have different checks at the line. So it's been a pretty smooth transition for me. Well, I think what happens a lot is the slot does a lot of different things in this offense. You can have those quick hitter plays, which I feel like I thrived at Utah, but then you also can stretch the field a little bit. So more than anything, the slot is kind of like a wild card in this type of offense, and I really like that.
How much of a mark do you feel like you have to make in the return game?
Yeah, well, I understanding your value and your worth is important, and I know that's a big reason why I was brought in here. So that's a big thing that I'm focusing on. I got my start in the return game as a freshman at Utah by simply catching every punt, and everything after that came after, right? And so that's what I'm focusing on right now, is catching every single ball to the point where the coaches can trust me enough to put me out there. And then, I feel like my resume in college, speaks for itself on the return game. I love the ball in my hands. You don't need to be tall. You don't need to be just crazy, big athlete. Once you get the ball in your hands, it's who can tackle you, right? And that's kind of more God-given and natural than it is a learned skill. So OTAs was great because I got to show what I could do as a receiver. We didn't do any return stuff, and I think I shocked some people as a receiver. And so to add that extra element here during camp is going to be big.
How heavily recruited were you out of high school, if at all?
Right. Yeah, not very heavily recruited. I mean, I played quarterback in high school, right? So I was a lot of preferred walk-ons, you could say. I got about 5 or 6 scholarship offers, and I just went with the people that believed in me, and it was the same thing as it's always been. I came in the first couple weeks, and I think I shocked people with how much better I was than they thought I would be, and how I'm not intimidated by certain things. And so for me, that's kind of the mentality I'm looking at. Even just having someone like Greg Ward in the room, right? Such a great mentor for me. Similar size, really smart, played quarterback in college. I feel like we're a similar type of player. Being able to have him mentor me has been wonderful.
How much did that quarterback experience kind of help you as a receiver to sort of understand?
Yeah, no, I think some of the best, you think about a lot of the great slot receivers in the NFL have been quarterbacks at one time, because you understand the read progression, what the quarterback's thinking, leverage, different things like that. So it makes a huge difference, even at this level.
And have you talked with Greg, because he made that transition, as you mentioned, and how much does he kind of relate to you about the quarterback position?
Oh, I've talked to him all the time. I always say, if you were to play quarterback for a game, do you think you could win? But for me, it's also just talking to, like I was watching film one-on-one with Gardner Minshew yesterday, and his ability to trust me is on a different level, I think, than someone who hasn't played quarterback, just because of that connection, that understanding of the game. And so talking with the quarterbacks as well, so not only you know what to do, but the quarterbacks can trust you because you see the same things similarly.
And so does Greg think he could win?
Yes, he does. And I give it to him. He was quite the player in college.
You guys haven't had the pads on yet, but just watching video, YouTube stuff, you're more physical. You appear more physical than maybe people assume. Do you surprise people with that aspect of your game, do you think?
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, I'm not the guy that's going to block the 250-pound linebackers, right? But I always ranked highest on my team in blocking just because I was smart. And it's about leverage. It's about running people off and understanding things like that. So I think I'm more physical with the ball in my hands than people think. And then without the ball, I think I'm just, there's a quote my grandpa used to say, this kind of been the motto of my career is, build on your strengths, then organize to make weaknesses become irrelevant. And that's kind of what I've done with my size in my career.
You gotta get that on a t-shirt.
Where did your relationship with the Eagles start? Why did you choose to come here?
So talking with a lot of different teams, but Coach Clay came out to my pro day to watch me return punts. And so it started there, and then obviously Brian Johnson, Utah alum. Brian's been a great mentor to me, and so I actually got the call during the draft from Brian, and it was an 801 number, which is the Utah area code, and I thought, which one of my idiot friends is calling me during the draft? And then it was Brian. So it's been a good relationship there, and then Coach Clay and Coach Moorhead and I were in contact before as well for a while.
You're a bit of an older rookie. What was your time away? What was the value of that to you in your journey?
My time away?
Yeah, from football.
Oh, yeah. It was great, so I went on a 2-year mission in college, and I went to Chile, and, I grew more as a person, and that helped me grow as a player in those 2 years than any other years of my life. So I hope, that brought a certain type of maturity. I still consider myself to be quite immature, but hopefully a good type of maturity and, coachability, responsibility, things like that, things of that nature.
Yeah, after the draft, it was kind of crazy. I'm trying to make my decision, ask my agent how much time do I have. I got till tomorrow, a couple of days. He's like, you got about 10 minutes. And Coach Taney came out to my pro day, and we had great talks about the playbook and the offense. And I just think that this is a great organization. I'm lucky and blessed to just have an opportunity to make this team.
There was a point where, you were projected as a really high pick. How difficult, humbling, you tell me how this whole process has been. You're the same guy you always were.
Yeah, it's definitely a humbling experience. After going through the Senior Bowl and the Combine, I thought that I showed that, my knee's feeling good and that I'm healthy. But, whatever happened, it happened. And, I'm just lucky to have a chance here with the Eagles, a great organization, great coaches, and so I'm just eager to learn and get better.
You mentioned the knee. How weird is it to have, every conversation about you is just talking about this part of your body?
Yeah, the Combine was probably the weirdest part, all the medicals and everything. I thought that I showed that, my knee's healthy moving around in the Senior Bowl and the Combine, but they don't think so. But the Eagles are giving me a chance, and I can't be more grateful for that.
What was the feedback you got from teams during the pre-draft process, and did you have a sense on where you would go?
To be honest, I thought that I was going to get drafted. When it was draft day and each round kind of went by, I was like, okay, this sucks. But at the end of the day, after the 7th round, and I was talking with the Eagles, I could tell that they believed in me and they wanted me to come here, and so I'm just happy and lucky to be here.
How hard was it to get past the disappointment or bitterness or whatever from the draft in April and because you kind of have to move past that and just be positive starting a new place?
Yeah, during the draft it was pretty tough, especially that last day. But as soon as I told the Eagles that I was going to come here, and they gave me that call, it went away, and it felt like I got drafted. So I was just happy that someone wanted to give me a chance.
That last day of the draft, where were you? Who were you with? What was that scene like?
Yeah, I was with all my family and friends in Tahoe. A little Airbnb. Just I went to school in Reno, and so Tahoe was a spot we would go to, and just had family and friends there.
Probably better off as a free agent than a 6th or 7th round pick, right?
Yeah, probably. I'm glad that I got to choose the team, and it's a great offense, great coaches, and obviously a great organization to be a part of.
You mentioned Alex kind of got in touch with you from an Eagles perspective first. When did Ryan come into the mix, or any of the other Eagles coaches?
Yeah, that was on draft day. I originally got the call from them in the 7th round, and I was like, okay, is this it? Am I getting drafted? And they're like, first thing we got to tell you is we have no more picks. And I was like, okay. But then I talked to Coach Johnson and all the rest of the coaching staff, and I just seemed like a great coaching staff. I already knew some of the playbook from meeting with Coach Taney before, and I knew that I'd have a good chance here.
What have you found about this quarterback room? With Jalen and Gardner Minshew and Reed, how has that kind of helped you out?
Yeah, they're all really good players. They're all like different in their own way, but they all can play at a really high level. Jalen is, amazing athlete, and he can spin the ball better than anyone I've ever seen. And Gardner, he's just like such a student of the game, and he does everything the right way. And Reed's been, really cool bringing me under his wing as well. So I'm lucky to be a part of this quarterback room.
I know it's still early, but what things do you feel like you still need to work on and improve on when you're on the field?
Basically every part of my game I can get better on. Today, I'm getting some of my first live 11-on-11 reps, and it's still moving fast. I sailed a ball. I threw a pick in 7-on-7. So I got a lot to learn and a lot to get better at for sure.
Challenging is this?
The transition is going, I would say, well. It's definitely hard. I didn't expect it not to be hard. It's been about 5 years since I played, and obviously everybody in the NFL is the best player on their team. So it's really competitive, which is great. I got a lot of good receivers on the offense that, I can learn from even when I'm not taking reps. So that's kind of my goal and my key right now is to learn the offense for one, and then also take a lot of information in as much as I can so I can learn to get better. Because I think my upside is probably high just because I haven't done it in so long. I can probably get a lot better really quick. So that's really the goal, and just to get opportunities when I can. Take advantage of my reps, on special teams as well, because that's going to be a big deal, of me making this team and, contributing. So, but overall, pretty fun. I'm enjoying it out here, and it's been great.
How long did it take to get over Eugene?
Just a couple of days. Yeah, just probably just that night. I thought about it, and then I went home and hung out with my family, and then just I had about 7 days before camp started, so I took about 3 days off, and then got back on the field on the 4th day just to move around a little bit, put the cleats back on, so I didn't come out here, cold.
Yeah. Is it the physical part that you think is going to be the next difficult transition?
I don't know if it's necessarily the physical part. I think it's just learning how to practice again. Learning how to play again. I think, the nuances are much different than college, and then it's been so long since I played, right? I just got to remember, the intensity and the tempo that all the coaches want in practice, and how to practice and how to get a good rep, even if we're just in helmets or we're just in shells and stuff like that as well. And then also getting all the walkthrough reps I can. Learning the offense is the biggest thing, but just the intensity is a lot different. Obviously, it's good on good every play. It doesn't matter ones, twos, threes. So it's really fun. It's really competitive, which is great. It's not it's not easy for sure.
If you stayed with football, what do you think these last 5 years would have been like?
Shoot, I couldn't tell you. I'd be in a better position, definitely. Probably be about 10, 15 pounds heavier. Maybe not as fast, but that's okay. I'll still be fast. It's hard to say. Just because, how you progress from college kind of differs. The game is so different. I'm starting to realize that now after practice 3 and just kind of understanding the concepts. And like I said, the intensity is just way higher, and everybody's fast, everybody's strong. And so now just trying to take advantage of learning new skills and not relying just on my speed to get open and not on my speed to make a play. Got to learn how to play the receiver position again. It's been a few years, and learn how to do other positions on special teams other than just returner, right? Because that's mostly what I did, returner and gunner. If they want me to play vice, great, or right up back on kickoff return, or interior or exterior on kickoff, then something I got to figure out.
Is your track career done, or
in terms of?
Are you finished hurdling, or?
I don't think so. I think track athletes usually have long careers, and it's a little bit easier on your body in terms of just intensity. So the goal is, I think, number 1, make the squad. Number 2, contribute and help the Eagles win a Super Bowl. And then, after the season, take a few weeks off, kind of ease back into it, stay in shape, and, get back into hurdling. If I run well, great. If not, it's not going to be for the lack of trying to compete well.
Are there things about hurdling that you've noticed that kind of helps you with football?
I think just track and field is a great tool. One, to learning how to run, being efficient, and just the way I train is being explosive, and that's kind of like the receiver position. You look at the athletes that we have at receiver, Smitty and AJ and Quez and Jalen Rieger and Zach and Greg. Pretty much everybody we have, fast, explosive guys, right? So that's just like the go-to thing. So like everybody we have is explosive and fast, and So it's good that I'm starting with that. Now I just got to, learn how to play position.
Are you faster than those guys? Do they challenge
Yeah,
you to
they
races?
definitely have challenged me to races. We'll probably get one here sometime during camp. I just don't want to do it too early and mess around, get hurt, and then I won't be able to practice. That'll be bad. If, I gotta make sure I take care of number one, and that's what I'm doing on the field, and then we can, have fun and all that stuff
Those
later.
guys talk trash to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good. I think those guys and me especially wouldn't be in the position that we are in if we didn't think we were the best at whatever we do. A.J. Brown even threw his name in the hat, which, he's a big guy, and I know he's fast too, but, I don't know if he can keep up with me and Quest.
Have you, in the interim since you last played at Oregon, have you, thrown around with your friends? Have you done anything football-wise? Have you, just in the park throwing football?
I mean, more or less, yes. It's not like I just stopped playing, having fun with it. During COVID year, especially 2020, I was doing a lot of football stuff because, the Olympics got canceled. So I was like, all right, let me just train and have fun. So I got, put the cleats back on. My coach was throwing me the ball. I had some of my track teammates that play, high school and college football as well, and tossed me the ball around too.
Are you, with regard to your future, you mentioned the Olympics, is that something you're still aiming for?
Yeah, it's still a goal because I believe I have the talent to be Olympic champ. And, and with the kind of the crappy circumstances of kind of the world championship stuff, I still would have believed I would have been world champion as well. But, so I think I definitely have the talent. So I just got to, I can't really say until I get there just because the Olympic trials aren't until 1 month before the Olympics. So we'll see when I get there.
You in football for the long haul? I mean, if this doesn't work out, how long are you going to give this in the NFL?
I'd like to give it a good go. I'm not going to just, it wasn't like a one and done thing. This is kind of like a commitment for me. And as long as I feel comfortable playing and feel like I can play good football, I'll play. If it gets to a point where I'm like, there's a point in everybody's career where they're kind of just like, all right, it's time to go. And then that's the case. But until then, I'm for sure in the long haul.
With regard to the final, you said it only took a couple of days to get over it. But it looked like you had a clean start. But how difficult was it at that time to accept what had happened? Because I thought you handled it amazing.
It's a good question. I think number one was just trying to understand what had happened. Like I said in all my other interviews, I just, there was no part of me that thought that I was going to get a red card for false starting. I was just walking back to, they're like, oh, he blew the gun. I thought they were going to give Grant a warning for going into set late because he usually goes into set later than everybody else. But when I walked back, and I was pretty surprised. So, at that point, it was pretty much just panic because I know the rules, right? You're not supposed to be able to run into protest unless there's a problem with the equipment or something, outside the external of the start, like crowd noise or somebody making noise on the field or, pole vaulter or shot putter throwing, whatever like that. So, it's pretty much just panic right away and then, trying to figure out what could have happened in terms of the equipment. And it seems, based on the data that there's probably something off a little bit just because there's only 1 or 2 starts in the last, 5 world championships that were faster than .115. And then this last one, it was 25 or 30. So then that's, maybe everybody's reacting faster, but, I don't know if that's necessarily the case. And then they also did some stuff just people that have a lot of time on their hands did some more research about my starts, and my start reaction time is on average the top 1% of everybody. So, to say I can't react that fast is kind of,
You were ripped off.
Yeah.
Was there a specific moment or event over the last year or so that made you want to make this commitment back to football?
No, I committed in 2016. Yeah. So I came back from the 2016 Olympics to play football, and that was my initial mindset was I'm going to play this 2016 season, go to the NFL Combine, get drafted, play football, and then when the Olympics come around, spend that summer training, see what I can do. I ended up getting hurt in that Nebraska game and kind of took a step back and was like, all right, what do I do here now? And I decided to focus on track for the next Olympic cycle, and then that turned into 5 years because of COVID, and so now I'm back.
Yeah. Pre-injury was the indication that you were on the track to get drafted, I guess for lack of a better term, on the road to get drafted there? Did you feel like you were draftable?
It's hard to say because, those grades are kind of arbitrary. You've seen a lot of people get drafted high that weren't projected high and vice versa. I think personally I have the talent, just my physical attributes and the talent to play in the NFL. That doesn't mean a lot. There's a lot more things that need to happen to be an NFL football player, you know, mental side, physical. And so that's something I'm learning now, and hopefully I can figure it out in the next you know, how long is camp? 2 weeks more, and then another 3 weeks of preseason. You know, so 5 weeks, and I hope that I can figure it out and give myself the best opportunity. You know, it's only been 3 days of true practice as well, and I feel like I've gotten, you know, exponentially better with every practice, and just way more comfortable, and, you know, getting more reps and kind of understanding the system and understanding what the coaches want from us as receivers, and the goal as an offense, and all that stuff as well. Because, you know, coming in, I did a bit of OTAs, and, you know, that was enough to kind of get my feet wet and to kind of get a feel for everybody. But towards the end is when we really got into like some football specific stuff, 7-on-7. I didn't get a chance to do that because I got COVID, and then I was overseas for my, you know, prep for World Champs. But yeah.
Okay, thanks.